Hello, everybody, and welcome to my weird little live stream of things related to vintage electronics. And what I'm working on today is a second Garrard record player because I started with one yesterday. I'm usually pretty good at getting these guys to work reasonably well. And the one I had yesterday, I think, was probably dropped or damaged because I could not get it to cycle, and the tone arm was acting very funny. And I realized that we had almost the exact same player with slight differences at the museum and our pilot. And it sounds terrible, but the mechanism seems to work, which is what I want. It just sounds like crap because probably it's never been cleaned. So I'm going to take care of that right now. But before I get started, just remember this. Working on vintage electronics is potentially dangerous. So you shouldn't work on electronics unless you are confident. Now, why is that pulling out like that? Don't tell me there's another problem with this fucking thing. No biggie. Let me get this center friction thing off, and then we'll pull the turntable. Looks like it's got a rubber O-ring holding the platter on. And why in the fuck does that keep on coming off like that? And of course, the camera's shooting right at my face. I'm actually kind of not in a great mood right now because I waited for 2 weeks for this GoPro camera to arrive. And it arrives, and according to their website, at least I thought what it said was the camera that I got should be capable of doing live streaming. Long story short, it does not. So I just bought a camera, the wrong camera, for no real good reason. And why does that sound like crap when it's running? Let me see. It's hitting something down here. I know why it's making that noise now. I'll take this off of here. It's rubbing right there. So another washer on there. I need to raise that friction wheel just up a little bit. It's much cleaner sounding. You take it off anyway, along with these washers, so I can save them for later keeping for use. Anyway, I must return this stupid camera because it's not the right one. And they're not cheap. And I hate returning things, so it's just the whole thing is annoying. Okay, let's take a look underneath. And it looks like it's pretty dry underneath there. It's not been cleaned up and lubricated. And I have my own ways of dealing with these. First of all, you need something that can kind of go in and dissolve some of the grease. And I use just a little bit of PB Blaster. That goes in and dissolves grease and also kind of loosens things up a little bit, even though this is pretty loose. And while I'm at it, I'll add a little synthetic oil to this. Basically anything that moves, you kind of want to make sure that it has a little bit of clean lubricant, because then the mechanism is going to move a lot smoother. Even though it's in pretty good shape already. And this little trick of putting stuff up on soup cans is something that my friend Kyle taught me about, and it works pretty well. On these players, this little thing right here tends to get gunked up. You just need to make sure that it turns very smoothly. This garage script is totally gone. So it's going to come off since it looks pretty awful. There, it's like it was never even there. Damn it. I am not the record player pro, so I know some of you who are watching who know all about record players are probably putting your hands in your head because you're watching how I'm fucking this up real good. Anyhow, I want to clean this up a little bit. Hoping to do is get this. I'm working on a huge Grundig stereo, and I've restored the amplifier and the tuner. I've got some speakers on its way. I'm gonna have it done by the end of the week, but who knows? I keep on running into issues and problems and unforeseen problems. A Garrard AT6, if that means anything to some of you record player guys. Hey, Colorado Radio. I'm assuming you're in Colorado. Well, I went to Colorado for a wedding a long time ago. One of the prettiest states I've ever been in. We stayed in this little town that apparently had a moose that had killed the mayor or something like that. It was awful, but I remember just being like, "Oh, I hope we don't run into any moose today." All right, that's pretty good. It's pretty good and clean. Get the idler pulley down. Take it over to the sink and clean it, and I'll be back in just a second. Okay. You want to make sure not to get any oil or stuff like that on your idler wheels, or they will slip. And ask me how I know. So I want the idler wheel to be kind of roughened up a little bit so it'll grip the motor step thingy. It looks like there's kind of some rough edges here. And remember, I need to put the two washers down there because it was just about. There we go. Well, I have appeared to have lost the tiny little C-clip that held it on there, and I knew it. I knew I would do something like that, but let me see how that runs now. It's a lot quieter now. Okay, let me find something to hold this guy on. There's a stupid way you can do it if you lose a C-clip on these tiny little idler pulleys. Just make your own. Come on now, get on out there. Now, ladder back on there. See how it behaves. It's not gripping the way I want it to. Sometimes if you roughing up under the platter a little bit, it'll get your friction wheel to grip it just a little bit more. All right. Okay, let me get my record and see if it'll do the dropperoo. Okay, record secured. Of course, I got it on 78, which is way too fast. Now, will it work on 33 RPM? Yep. Well, it still thinks there's a 78, so let me get it to cycle through. Okay, no record detected. Okay, cycle complete. Now, let's see if it recognizes, not recognizes, but that tripped the mechanism hopefully to get it to see that it's a 33, there we go, 33 RPM record. It comes over, it clicks. Now the other question is, will it drop more than one record? So let me auto cycle out. Gets a little stuck right there, but that's okay. So let me stack. I need to figure out why that keeps on pulling out like that. That's really aggravating. Oh, it's going all the way down. Okay, should drop the first record. All right, first record being played. Starts. That's good. It should drop the second record. Yep, I dropped the second record. Again, it comes over. And now since there's no record there, it should just stop. Okay, last record. So functionally, it works. But again, I'm not really sure why the damn this thing keeps on pulling out every time I pull the records out. So what can I do to secure that? I think there's a spring mechanism that was supposed to have held that in there. Let me pull one out of the other machine. Ouch. It's not the same. Not the same at all. How is this held in place? think at one point there was a C-clip there. And that's what should hold it in place. And it should be no, that's not going to do anything. I think maybe this little thing right here is supposed to hold it in place. All right. Okay, that's it. That's it right there. I just don't understand how this is supposed to, like, am I missing parts or what? This is like the second night in a row where I've done this, and it's like the most horrible live stream videos ever. Let's see, how's that supposed to hold in? Okay. How can I prevent this from coming out? Well, and that's just to tell the guy that's how it is. I cannot figure out why it will not permanently hold that in place, but I think I know why. I think because there's parts missing. Damn it, fucking hell, man. You ruined the needle. Let's see. Well, it seems like the record player mechanically and from a motor perspective is working pretty well, but again, like this fucking thing is not. All right, any of you record player guys work on these things? Work on these garages? Like, why is the I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I have a manual. There were some accessories that came with the stereo. Let me see what else is with it. All right, I'm going to make an executive decision. I cannot have that coming out like that. That's just not acceptable. And I've been trying to find some record player, any record player that would give reasonably reliable service. And the guy already told me yesterday he was perfectly fine having a manual mode record player, meaning he turns it on and puts the needle on the record. And this one I worked on last night, and it works pretty well now. And I also got a new needle for it. But unlike the other one, the changer mechanism on it does not want to do its thing. And I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because the record, there's parts of the machine that are bent. But long story short, it doesn't want to do its thing. I say that, and it just about wanted to drop the record just now. Was not doing that yesterday. Let's see. Okay, now the dropper's not working. Okay. Yeah, sorry, these record players can be an ungodly pain in the ass. I say that, and I feel like it's a cop out because if you work on record players a lot, you should be able to figure it out. But I don't work on exclusively record players. I'm mostly just the electronics. on the cabinetry maybe. Let's see, I got this new needle. I'm going to keep this other one now just in case, because it looks like it's in reasonable shape. So much so, I can't help but think that the one that was on it's actually in better shape than the one that just came out of this package. This is supposedly a new needle. Oh, shit. It's not going to work. I have to go with the old one. Well, anyway, the old one's in the one that I found yesterday is in much better shape anyway. So it'll just have to be what it is. Flipped it over to 33 RPM. So save this needle. Later, and I believe that my manual mode record player should do all right. Yeah, if the GoPro camera had worked, I'd be able to show you what I'm doing on this giant stereo behind me, but because it doesn't work right, I'll just have to show you by pointing the camera around. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, this is such a bad camera. There it is. So that's the stereo, and you can see. I get my pointer over here. So over there, that tall thing, that's the tuner, and then this is where the record player goes right there. And over there, somewhere is the amplifier on the floor. And I'm gonna have to, put the record player in here, in the cabinet up here, and then I need to add the gift of Bluetooth to the stereo, and then I also need to put the legs on it and get out my buffing compound so I can polish it up. But that damn thing probably weighs 250 pounds, so I'll have to get someone to help me move it. In the meantime, it looks like my glorious manual only record player is working just fine. So I'm going to go install it. I'm thinking, what else can I do today with the failed webcam? Let me see. Just for shits and giggles, does this come up? Okay, that does a reasonable job. My question is why? There must be some reason why it's like it's out of time. Either way, I'm not going to mess with this anymore. I've spent an enormous amount of time on both these record players, and again, the person that dropped this off was like, I don't need necessarily the record player to work, and I'm not sure if I want the cycling mechanism to work. So the fact that he's got a good record player that will reliably play records is a good thing. So let's see. But I do need to wire it up using the old wire from the record player that came on it. Okay, there's power cord coming from the factory record player, and I need to get the audio cable off. All right. Okay, let me at least get the audio cables connected. And here's my funny German cable. It's not funny, it's just different. Get this refocused. All right, so here's the right, left, and center. Pretty straightforward. I'm not sure what yellow is. I'm guessing red must be the right channel. That stupid hat keeps on getting in the way. Okay, got that one soldered in, and we'll get this one soldered in. And then I'll get my ground. Where's my ground? Here's my ground. I want that ground on there good, because that's probably going to be the thing that people jerk on. Good. All right, so we got the right and left channels together. Yeah, sometimes it's, I think what might have happened is these units, I think, had a spring that was around here that kind of is supposed to hold those down. This one seems to be holding okay, but I think the other one's missing. Wait a minute, what am I doing? I got a whole kit of wire nuts here, including little bitty ones. All right. Let's see if I smoke my my garage again like I did yesterday, because yesterday I hooked this up wrong and wound up blowing the breaker. So my breakers work quite well in this house, apparently. That's why I say you should never do anything that you see on this channel, because you could get into some big trouble. All right, now is that going to blow the circuit? Let's see. Manual. That was it. All right. So this and this is my power. And I need to be able to switch into that. Where's my cable that came with this thing? How aggravating. What I do with the cable. Here we are. Okay, it's going to be gray and red. Gray and red. Sorry, I'm totally blocking the camera. Just want to make sure that I have switch control restored. Just need to be able to see the motor. Yeah, that's good. Now I know which of these wires needs to be my, it's going to be these two right here, gray and red. Let's double check that again. Gray and red. Yep. So I don't need this. I can just cut this down to here. Get rid of this black wire because I don't need it. So now I have my two cables to plug back up to the stereo. And I have my audio cable connected. Nice wire. All right, let me make sure that this is all secured under here and it doesn't make a mess as far as the wiring goes. Yeah, I know the something's missing, Kyle. Okay, if you're just joining, Kyle, I found a record player that cycles, but the cycling record player has a problem too. So I'm just going to go with what the customer requested yesterday, which is just to be a manual mode record player, which I know. Sue me. Wah. You did not tell me that the platter clips held it on. And in the platter clip, I tried it. It does not hold this one on. So let me tape this up here. Then I want you to see what I'm dealing with. So is there something missing under here? Because I've noticed that there's nothing really there except for that little depression. Keep those wires out of the way. That's good. This clip, you're talking about this one, right? So what I did is I did put it around here, and it will still not keep the keep that mechanism in place, whatever the fuck it's called. So you would think, right, that it's got a depression, and it should hold it in place. Okay, that's the right way. Okay, let me take this off, and put this back on. Yes. This clip? Okay, let me take a look at your pictures. Well, actually, you sent a video. Tell you what, this is so weird. We're doing this live. Okay, let me get this camera up closer. You can see. This camera sucks. All right. Okay, so the little dot goes at the 2 o'clock. 11 o'clock. Okay. So more like this. All right. Yeah. Yep, it's pulled out. No, it's out. Yeah, there's like a 5-second delay. See that? Yes. Yep. Okay, it's together. Yep. I tell you what, we're not going to do this live. This is this is driving people crazy. Okay, let me try this, and if I fail at this, I will call you back at the end of the live stream. In the meantime, no, I know. All right. Thanks, Kyle. So my friend Kyle is watching me, and he's like, "You're doing it wrong," which is he's probably absolutely correct. But I think what I'm going to do is, since we're coming out on the hour here, and I kind of butchered this episode. What time is it? It's only 4:30 here anyway. I will consult with Kyle more diligently versus trying to keep you all bored on this live stream. Anyhow, I'm not sure what the future of the channel is. I've been still doing these piddly, farty little videos that hardly anyone watches because they're awful. But I don't know. It's more fun for me to do, and I just don't like editing videos that much anymore because it reminds me of work. It reminds me of work. So, I don't know. Maybe if I get to a point in my life where I'm not doing computer work for a living, I'll happily do more editing. But in the meantime, thank you all for watching. Hope you all stay safe and dry and warm, or whatever it is that you happen to be located at. So I'll see y'all tomorrow, and hopefully at some point I'll get my camera situation worked out so that it's not this shitty camera. So take it easy, guys.